Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 21 of What If Naruto Was Trained by All the Greats at a Young Age. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends and social media platform, and also, go ahead and check out the brand new episode over on Anime King 3. The link will be at the top of the description guys of part 6 of What If Naruto Was Betrayed by Hagoromo, so go ahead and check out that and enjoy. And on this channel, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Direct Descendant of the Sage. So go ahead and check out that and enjoy as well. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, and you enjoy the videos, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. And yeah, without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last time we left off, the Nine Tails was removed from Naruto, as he died. Yes, he was dead completely. Kushina and the others, they couldn't believe it, as Kushina broke down along with Hinata. Tsunade looked at Naruto, as she saw Dan and Owaki. She then came down and she took his body and rested him on the ground, as she told them that she was going to bring him back. And this mission parameters was going to be classified her last order as Hokage, as she didn't want anyone else hating Naruto for something that was beyond his control. So she did a jutsu to exchange her life for his, and brought him back. Naruto was shocked when he heard what happened, as he just went away, as he needed to be alone for now, as Hinata went there same way, with something for him to eat, as he needed to eat something. His body was frail and weak, as he was a bit distant, but she managed to break through that shell of his, as she sat with him and just stayed there in silence. They returned back to Konoha as Naruto spoke to Jiraiya on the way. Jiraiya told him that he's not supposed to blame himself, but for what he did, that was a completely idiotic mistake of going up against Itachi alone without informing anyone. But still, nothing is ever certain in this life of a shinobi. And no, Naruto was the Hokage, as right after, yes, he was the Hokage, as Tsunade made him his successor. So with that, they made their way back to the village, as the know about Tsunade's death was unknown. As Naruto spoke to the council, as one member decided to leave the council, that was the head of the Yamanaka, who didn't really like Naruto as he left. But Naruto made his dominance clear, as he was Hokage and he wanted all of their help if they were going to strive on. As they all somewhat agreed with it, even the Uchiha clan head, as he didn't want to not be a part of the council. That would be taking a huge power from the Uchihas, so he did not really get himself involved in that. But the Yamanaka clan head left. Shikamaru went home, as Naruto had regaled a few of them with some information about what the Akatsuki member wanted to do to lead their pain. As they were all shocked, as the man was going to end up destroying everything, because the statue would not hold out, and it would not work. The power, the weapon that he tried to make would backfire. So they had to stop him, as the man was trying to make 8 work, seeing that the one tail was destroyed, and it hasn't reformed yet. As Shikamaru went home and proposed to Temari, as he knew that he couldn't tell her the exact reason. Well, he loved her anyway, despite the way he acted. But he didn't want to tell her because it was a secret from Naruto about the Akatsuki plannings. So he kept that part to himself. So yeah guys, that was basically the last part left off. You guys can switch across to the play and for yourself. So what do you say begin this new episode? Naruto was currently sitting down in the Hokage's chair. It was his chair now. His desk, his office, his position. It was night time, and from the window he could see multicolored explosion of light in the darkened skies. He sighed. Right now his clone was likely on the roof, with his arm wrapped around Hinata, as they all watched. That was where he wanted to be now, but his duty required him be here instead. The door to his office opened as he rose to his feet with a friendly smile, as a man dressed in blue and white robes entered. Kazekage-san. Thank you for agreeing to meet with me, said Naruto, Solomon returned the gesture with a bow. It is I who should be thanking you, Hokage-san, for the honor that you have shown me. Solomon was well aware that this San was not a great nation anymore. Yet Naruto had shown the courtesy of one of the Kages. The respect was greatly appreciated. As Naruto motioned for him to sit in the chair in front of the deck, so he did so. What do you wish to speak of, Hokage-san? As Naruto sat down, I have had some thoughts about some radical changes in my village. To begin with, I want to make some change to the treaty that ended the war. Solomon eyed him wearily, as this could be bad. If Konoha wanted another pound of flesh, there was nothing the San could do but submit to them. Fighting Konoha again was out of the question. What sort of change? He asked. Naruto took out a piece of paper and placed on his decks. According to the terms of surrender, you must pay reputations of 20 million Ryu each year for the next 10 years. Your ninjas are not to perform any missions outside of the land of Wayne, and you are not permitted to sign any treaty with any foreign power without the permission of Konoha. You have also provided us with hostages. I believe that covers everything. The Kazekage nodded. Yes, those are terms we agreed to when we made peace. I want to change him, Naruto said, as he handed over a piece of paper. This is what I have in mind, he said. As Solomon took the paper, what he read shocked him, as he read it over to see if he was not misunderstood. As he looked at the Hokage in real surprise. Why in Kami's name would you want this? This releases us from the peace treaty and gives us a chance to become great one day. As he looked at Naruto suspiciously, what is in it for you? I want your village to be allies, said Naruto. We already are, said Solomon. No, we're not, said Naruto. We're not alliances if you're compelled to it by the end of a blade. The way things are right now, you will continue to hate us and just wait for a day for you to get revenge. You will only be our allies as long as you know that we're too strong to fight. If that should change one day, you will attack us without a second thought. Solomon slowly nodded. He would give Naruto some credit and talk to him honestly, as one leader to another. That is so. It is the way of the world for the strong to take advantage of the weak. Had we won the war, we wouldn't have treated you gently. Naruto shook his head, but all that leads to is an unending cycle of war and revenge. How can there ever be real peace when one side is always looking over revenge? What would you suggest instead? Solomon asked. A grand alliance where all members are equals, and all members are guaranteed security from attack. I want an alliance where we can foster friendship, and we do not pose war against each other, and we fight with each other against outside attacks. Friendship? Solomon asked. You expect the villages to become friends? Yes, eventually. Solomon looked at him. Are you really so naive to believe that that will ever happen? Maybe it's a revolutionary idea, but I believe it's the only way to have peace someday. Solomon eyed him carefully. You did more than ever send a ninja to defeat my village in the war. You killed my predecessor and hundreds of other ninjas. After all of that, how can you even want real friendship with us? Alyssa is your granddaughter, I believe. She is, said Solomon. Well, I have come to care for her as my little sister, said Naruto. I have a friend named Haku who's a misnamed. He nearly killed a girl I love, and I also nearly killed him. But now I consider him one of my closest and dearest friends. So I happen to know for a fact, those who are enemies can become friends one day. And if I have to choose, I put my faith in friendship over the sword. That's an interesting sentiment for a ninja, especially for a Kage. Well, one thing I've never been called before is ordinary, said Naruto. For the first time a grin appeared on the Kazekage's lips. I believe that. I also believe that you will never be. Well, whatever the case, I'm ready to sign your treaty. That's great, but before you do, there's one more thing we need to discuss first. What is it? It's about Alyssa and the other hostages. Time skip. See, he signed it, said Naruto. As he showed off the signature, Jiraiya and Shizune both looked at it. There was no doubt that he would not. In his perspective, he only gains. Well, I'm very proud of you, Naruto, Shizune said. I think it's very wonderful that you're trying to make lasting peace. Jiraiya frowned as he was not so sure. Kid, this idea of yours, you know it will not work, right? Maybe it will and maybe not, but I have to create a world of peace, right? What other choice is there? Jiraiya shrugged. Well, you could always make Konoha so strong that no one will ever dare challenge her. You mean the Akatsuki method, said Naruto. No, I'm not gonna try to conquer the world or scare everyone into what I want. I won't be like them. If I do end up leading Konoha into a war, it will be to create a greater peace, not just to get power or revenge. Jiraiya looked at his student. Naruto really believed it, and damn if he couldn't get you to believe it as well. Well, seeing that there are only two possibilities, said Jiraiya, I'll give you my full support to try and make this thing real. You know you're gonna have a real fun time explaining all of this to the council. It has to be done, said Naruto. I have enough support. I'm sure I'll manage. Shizune looked at the clock on the wall. It is time for your next meeting. Naruto nodded. This is going to be a really long night. Time skip. The Grand Alliance, huh? Said the Stone Kage. Well, sure, I'll sign. Suigetsu spoke happily and smiled with all those sharp teeth. After 2 years of fighting, he finally secured the title of Stone Kage and the control over the Hidden Stone Village. To be honest, I was surprised to get your invitation to come. I would be happy to hook up with the strongest village around. Naruto disliked him immediately. He saw a lot of similarities between him as well and Zabuza. Well, there are certain conditions to join in. Like what, said Suigetsu. First off, no more human experiments. Second off, no more cursed seals. And no more recruiting people from Fire Country. Suigetsu nodded, sure. All that stuff was Orochimaru doing. He actually experimented on me, so I got no taste for doing it myself. We don't even have info on the cursed seal anymore. As Naruto knew that to be true from his previous mission, but he didn't want to leave Suigetsu any wiggle room. And we'll stop grabbing kids from Fire Country, Suigetsu said. We will be good, little boys and girls. Naruto did not trust him, but he kept his bargain. He would be treated like the other members of the alliance. Welcome aboard then. Time skip. The Raikage looked at the piece of paper. You are serious about this, he said. As Naruto nodded, I sure am. I already have 4 signatures, as you can see. The Raikage shook his head and handed the paper back to him. You have acquired 4 weak villages that will be nothing but a burden to you. Kumo is a great power and in need of no alliance. This so-called Grand Alliance of yours will not come to anything. Well, I think great things will come from it, said Naruto. The Raikage shrugged, not seeing it that important to argue about. Well, my village has no interest in it. Now, is there anything else you wish to discuss? Yes, as a matter of fact, I want to talk about the two-tailed Jinchuriki, Yugito. The Raikage frowned. What about her, he asked. She will be targeted by the Akatsuki. You should make every effort to protect her. She's a ninja of the village hidden in the clouds. She's expected to face danger, said the Raikage. I will certainly not cuddle her like she was a helpless child. Every ninja is expected to face danger, said Naruto. Not every ninja is expected to face the likes of Itachi Uchiha and other S-rank criminals. She will survive or she will not, but I will not waste resources on her, the man said. As Naruto saw a look that he knew all too well. You hate her, don't you? She's nothing but a tool to you, and a dangerous one at that. You'd probably be just as happy if she was killed. The Raikage sent him a sharp look. Do not presume to judge me. You have been Hokage for nothing but a day. She's one of your own people. How can you not care about her, Naruto asked. Not every village has selfish Konoha casualties are to be expected. Naruto frowned. He could not imagine Sarutobi or his godmother being so dismissive about someone's survival. He was absolutely certain that Akatsuki would be coming for her. He was also certain if special steps were not taken, she will die. Though he hadn't met her, he felt a kinship with her as someone who has been a Jinchuriki. There was also the matter of foiling Akatsuki plans. I have an idea. Naruto remained at the tower till well past midnight. Time skip. The next morning, Haku was walking down the stairs. As the door to Naruto's room opened up, out stepped a fully dressed Naruto and Hinata in a robe. Good morning, Naruto. Good morning, Hinata-chan, said Haku. He knew that Hinata had moved in, but he was a bit surprised to see her coming out of his room. Morning, Haku, Naruto said. Good morning, Hinata said brightly. As she leaned over and shared a quick kiss with Naruto. I need to change, I'll meet you downstairs for breakfast, she said. As she hurried over to her room, which was right next to Naruto's, as Haku stood there patiently, as they both waited. You have a huge grin on your face. Well, can you blame me, said Naruto. When I wake up, the very first thing I see is my Hinata-chan. Haku nodded, feeling a bit sad that he had yet to experience that with Gabriella. You're very lucky, he said. Naruto nodded as a thought occurred in his mind. Haku, remember when you asked me, what if the only way I can marry Hinata was if I joined the Hyuga clan? Of course, you told me that you would not marry her. Well, I take it back, said Naruto. I know now, I love her too much to ever be without her. So you'll marry her, even if it means joining our clan, Haku said cheerfully. Yeah, I would. Because being with her is worth that sacrifice, said Naruto. But what about your children? Would you want them to be raised in the Hyuga clan, with all their rules and stiff behavior? Naruto frowned a bit, as he loved Hinata dearly, and he had great respect for Hayashira and Neji. But having spent so much time with that clan growing up, he knew the problems with them. They cared too much for tradition, and they were rigid and formal even behind closed doors. But even so, Naruto nodded. It wouldn't be my first choice. But even if they were, any child with Hinata for a mother will grow up having love and affection. But what if something happened to her? Haku asked seriously. The way something happened to your father. As Naruto thought about that, we're all in danger, Haku. Death can come for any of us at any time. But if I were going to lose my Hinata-chan, I'd want to spend every minute with her, as I could. And once she was gone, I would spend the time with my children to take care and show them how much I love them. Haku would think of his friend's answer and he could not think of anything to add at the moment. A couple minutes later, Hinata came out dressed and ready. As they went downstairs. Time skip. It was now noon. As Kushina and Alyssa came to Hokage's office. As Kushina knew what her son was going to do. It was a surprise for Alyssa. When they entered, both Naruto and Kazekage stood to greet them. Hello, Alyssa. Solomon, greet his granddaughter. JJ? She quickly rushed over to him as he bent down and hugged her. Have you been well treated, Alyssa? She nodded her head up and down. Who is grandfather, she said as she smiled over towards Kushina and Naruto. They don't treat me as a hostage, but like family. She's my mother, and he's my big brother. As Solomon gave her a small smile. Her birth mother had died when she was 2. Her father had been killed fighting in Rin country when she was 4. She has been raised by her aunt and uncle after that as she was surrounded by a couple children. She was never alone though, and she was not unloved. She was never as close to her aunt and uncle as her birth children was. So when she came to Konoha, she was very happy to have Kushina treat her like a daughter. Sister, said Naruto, you're here today because I decided to release the hostages from the sand. All the color quickly drained away from her face. You're sending me away? She ran from her grandfather and back to Kushina and grabbed onto her. Please, Mom. I want to stay here with you and everyone else. Kushina gave her daughter a comforting hug. No one is sending you away, dear. That's right, said Naruto as he came around, as she didn't give him a chance to finish what he was saying. What I was going to say is that you could return to the sand or stay here and be adopted into the family. You won't be our guest anymore, but you will legally be my sister, Alyssa Namikaze. Really? I'll really be in the family? She said. Honey, you're already family to us, said Kushina. This will just make official for what has been true for a long time now. Naruto grinned. Well, that is if you want to stay here with us. Yes I do, she said. More than anything. As that made Naruto smile. Time skip. No, said Temari. Solomon frowned. Temari, you have responsibility to both your clan and village. She held up her left hand and showed a diamond ring. I also have one for my future husband, she said. I was willing to sacrifice everything for the sand. But now I have new loyalties. I love Shikamaru and Yoshino. And I am not leaving them. Konoha is my home now, she said. Solomon shook his head sadly. This will be the end of the line. Can you live with that? After everything my last name has caused. Yes, she said. Time skip at 6. Naruto called for a council meeting. There, he presented to them. He had a treaty with the signatures of sand, grass, waterfall, sound, star, river, and tea country. He also presented them with a pair of chests, each of them filled with 100 million Ryu, along with the first Hokage necklace and scroll, and the chest they had been in Naruto's possession the entire time. So, with the 200 million Ryu that was received on the mission to Tora, the village would not lose any income from releasing the sands of their obligations. Now, instead of a vengeful sand, we have a willing ally. The sand, along with the 6 villages, agreed to join us, or the beginning of what I hope will eventually be an alliance that will include every last ninja village. As Naruto sat back down very pleased with all that he had accomplished so quickly. Danzo was on his feet, furious. Are you insane? You release the sand from their obligations and allow them to become a threat again. I'm giving them a chance to become a strong friend to us. Naruto said calmly. He sort of wished Jiraiya was here to intimidate him a little, but he already went on a mission to gather information. They were the first to join the Grand Alliance, said Naruto. Grand Alliance? Danzo openly mocked. All you have done is command us to defend 6 weaklings. Should they be attacked, where is the advantage to Konoha? How does this strengthen us? We are already acknowledged as the strongest of all ninja villages, and unlike you, Danzo, I believe that having friends in this ninja world will only make us stronger. Friends? Said Danzo. There is no such thing amongst the ninjas of different villages. If you trust others, they will only turn and betray you one day, just as the sand betrayed us. Naruto shook his head. Not if they have more to gain by being our friends. This alliance will guarantee their territory and give them security. I think it's our best chance for a lasting peace. Danzo continued to argue bitterly against it, but Naruto had too much support in the council for there to be a different outcome. Especially with 200 million Ryu just sitting there on the table, Naruto kept a careful eye on Ryuki. He had expected Danzo opposition against his plan. He did not expect the Uchiha clan head to sit there and say nothing at all, and the fact that he voted to approve the alliance was a greater surprise. So at the end of the day they knew, and it was official. Time skip, 8 days later. Shizune knocked on his door and popped her head in. She's here. Naruto nodded as he expected her arrival today, so he was here instead of his clones. Send her in. An attractive blonde Kunoichi entered and bowed to him. She stood up as she gave him a calm look. She wore her cloud headband around her forehead. I am Yugito of the village hidden in the clouds. I was ordered to report to you about a long-term mission. Naruto stood up and returned her bow. I am very glad to meet you, Yugito. I hope we can become good friends. He saw her eyebrow uncork for a second before the calm mask returned. She obviously didn't know what to say or react. Of the Hokage of Konoha saying that to her. Well, I suppose that is possible, she said, her tone rather neutral. Can you please inform me who my client is, and what the mission is? Naruto smiled. I am your client. I gave the Raikage 5 million Ryu of my family money to hire you as a bodyguard for a full year. A year? Yes. Welcome to Konoha, he said. Time skip. The following morning, as Naruto and Hinata went downstairs to eat, Yugito was already there, dressed and waiting. As Naruto sent her a big smile. Good morning, Yugito-chan. Did you sleep well? Asked Hinata. She couldn't help but look at both of them a bit curiously. She was a foreign ninja and a stranger, and they were both calling her Chan as if they were old friends. No one called her Chan. Well, it was all a part of the job, she supposed. After one day, this was obviously going to be a strange experience. As she put on a smile. I slept well, thank you. Good morning to you, Hinata, and Hokage-san. Naruto said in her playful look. Or you're calling Hinata by her name and not me. I feel rather left out. Is he really a Kage, she wondered. The Raikage always demand respect from those who serve them. Hokage-san, while I'm here on this mission, I am your servant. To address you by name simply will be disrespectful. He shook his head slightly, but he didn't try to argue with her. Even after all these years, Haku still called his mom Kushina-sama. I'm very sorry about what happened last night. I should have warned you. I honestly didn't believe that you would be ambushed so quickly. She got a bit embarrassed. It's alright, Hokage-san. A ninja must always be prepared, and I let my guard down. Well, if it makes you feel any better, everyone who lives here has been attacked like that. I myself has gone through it several times. Really? She said in surprise. As Naruto nodded, Hinata gave her a warm smile, if it helps. I think you look very nice in braids and pink ribbon, as Alyssa had gotten to her. Time skip. She was uncomfortable. She was eating breakfast with them. It was not because they were not talking to her or making bad comments about her. It was not because they were just ignoring that she was there, but they were all acting friendly, like they had been friends and family for a long while, rather than a higher help. It was a rather unique experience, something she never expected. It was a rather large gathering as all the people that lived there sat around the table and talked as they ate. She found it hard to believe that the Hokage's mother, the actual Namikaze clan head, insists on doing the cooking, as, in her experience, clan heads normally don't do, well, much. They had servants. She wondered if this was how all the clans in Konoha were, or this was an eccentric family. She saw her nemesis came into the dining room and flashed her a smile. Yugito couldn't help but send the 11-year-old a smile back. Despite the horrors of last night with her here, you could not stay angry at little girl. As she watched Alyssa skip over to where the Hokage was sitting, as she gave him a big hug. Brother, there's something I want to ask you. Yes, Alyssa-chan? Can I be a ninja? As if drawn by a magnet, Kushina came out of the kitchen and spoke. Alyssa, you want to be a kunoichi? As her little daughter nodded. I thought you wanted to be a hairdresser. Well, Mom, that was when I was a hostage, and I wasn't supposed to be a ninja or use weapons. Know that I'm a part of the family. I want to be a ninja like you, and brother, and everyone else. Kushina did not look happy at this news. Uncle then strolled in, wearing nothing but an oversized shirt. Well, that's great. I'll be happy to help you. You stay out of this, Kushina snapped. Alyssa looked up in surprise. Is there something wrong, mother? She asked. Kushina looked down. Alyssa, honey, you don't have to be a ninja to be a part of his family. We will love you just as much whether you're one or not. I know that, mother, but I really want to be a ninja like you and brother. I want to go on missions with my team and see new places and protect the village just like you guys do. Kushina slowly nodded as she looked disappointed though. In her life, she has been a part of 2 ninja clans and lost many of the people that she come to love and care about. She attended her husband's funeral and the funeral of many of her kins. Not long ago, she looked at her son, dead body, and her close friend died right in front of her. She did not want Alyssa to become a ninja as well. Honey, being a ninja is very, very dangerous. You know that late Snyder died not too long ago. All of us who are ninjas live dangerous life and can die at any time. Are you sure that you wouldn't be happier being a hairdresser or maybe a teacher? Alyssa crossed her arms and shook her head. No, mother. I want to be a ninja. I know that is dangerous, but that is what makes you all so brave. As she looked in the room, most everyone was present, and they were all ninjas or retired ninjas. You protect others and provide for the village. You face dangers and challenge, and you have life filled with adventure. That is what I want. I want to live an amazing life. I will never be happy staying here my entire life while others out there doing these things. I want to be just like you and my big brother. Kushina saw that Alyssa really meant it, as she sighed. Alright, she said. Alright, honey. If that is what you truly want. Alyssa-chan, said Naruto. You're 11. Which means you miss out on 3 years of the academy. Would you like to enroll for 1 year? If you do that, you'll have to pass an entrance test to make sure you know everything a 4th year student should. Alyssa looked excited by the prospect. I like that. What do I need to know? You need to be able to mold chakra, have basic taijutsu, some weaponry skills with shuriken, kunais, know math, coding, the rules of shinobi conducts, science, history, and be able to pass a physical endurance test. That sounds like a lot. How long do I have to learn all of that, she asked. Until the beginning of September, said Kushina. So right now you have less than 4 months. As Alyssa looked a big panic. It's not as bad as it sounds. That's right, Alyssa-chan. The academy requirements are not that high. I'm sure if you work hard you can reach your goals in Hinata. Haku nodded. You already receive an excellent education. So the academics shouldn't be too much of a problem for you. But that still leave molding chakra, weapons, and endurance, said Alyssa. She turned to her mother and brother. Would you teach me? Of course you will, said Kushina. But you have to remember, Alyssa, Naruto and I have other duties as well. We will give you training when we can. Alyssa looked crushed by that. But I think everyone will be happy to help you, as there was nods all around. Yugito caught herself, she was nodding as well. What the hell is wrong with me? Training this little girl is not a part of my mission. Hey, Uncle and I are both retired, so we can help you out the most. Naruto smiled as he saw how happy Alyssa was. Over the years, she had watched all of them train around her, but she had never done it herself. As he chuckled, knowing that his little sister is in for quite an experience. Well, on the bright side, after 3 months of Uzumaki training, the academy will be a breeze for her like it was for me. Time skip. After breakfast, Kushina and Haku went off the train, as Hinata went towards the hospital, as Anko left for her own duties, while the two retired ninjas started to teach Alyssa the basics. As Naruto created 5 clones and sent them all off to the tower, they were dressed in their robes and hat. As soon as they were gone, Naruto had on his, body armor, as him and Yugito headed to one of the training grounds. Time skip. Why are we at a training ground, Hokage-san? Asked Yugito. Was there something I've been putting off that I need to do? You looked at her. You know that I was the Jinjulti of the Kyuubi. Yes, she said. You're also aware that I no longer am. As she again nodded. Well, spending my entire life as a demon container, having the Kyuubi taken out of me was a blessing and a curse. I no longer have to worry about losing control if I get too angry. And people in general think it is easier to deal with me now. But the downside, I've lost a lot of chakra capacities, but also a powerful absolute defense. Losing the red chakra cloak and the red chakra clones was definitely a major change. I need to see how much strength I've lost and how much I have. As he took out a scroll, with a poof of smoke, it became several mats, each of them containing kunais. As he tossed one to Yugito, there, that's for you. Please keep it on you at all times. As she looked at the 3-pronged kunai, as she gasped, as she recognized what it was. Is this one of the yellow flash kunai that he used in the famous jutsu? That's right, he said as he tossed her several kunais around the training ground. I was able to relearn my father's prized jutsu. So long as you have that with you, I can reach you at any time, no matter where you are. She held on to the kunai. While I appreciate this, Hokage-san, I must inform you that if I have this in my possession when I leave, I am indebted to pass this on, the formula, to my village, to the Raikage. Here, as he tossed another kunai to her, she got it. You can pass that one on to the Raikage and give him my compliments. She stared at him as he threw out more kunai. Can you really be so easygoing with the secrets of this jutsu? He started to laugh. He then turned and looked at her. If it were that easy, every ninja from here to the hidden stone will know the Harashin. The formula you see there is just 1% of a jutsu. And knowing that is worthless if you don't know the other 99% of the jutsu. He gave her an embarrassed grin as he rubbed back of his head. I am the only one to ever figure out how to use my father's jutsu. Even that supposed genius Orochimaru could never solve it. I studied for years since I was an academy student. That Over 2.5 year period, I studied. A few hours every single night until I was able to solve it. So I'm really not worried about anyone getting that formula. As she watched him stop as he tossed around all the kunais. As she watched him pause before he stood still. It happened in just a few seconds as he returned back with all the kunais packed up. As she looked at him with a whole new volley of respect. Upon meeting him, he did not act like a Kage to her. He kept on making jokes and tried to make her comfortable. And that made her wonder, did he become the Hokage because he was Yellow Flash son? But he really could work the Harashin. Anyone can master that jutsu. Must be a genius. Maybe there's more to him that meets the eye. I need to remember to look underneath the underneath, she thought to herself. Time skip. Throughout the morning, he practiced a few jutsus. Most of them are wind-based, but he used all the elements. He certainly had a very wide range of them. After making a river of earth flew past, he frowned. Is something wrong? Asked Yugito. I'm not as strong as I used to be. My wind jutsus are still not too bad. But my earth, fire, water jutsus are a lot weaker than they used to be. As he had used no lightning. She looked at him in surprise. They certainly seem powerful enough to me. You're just trying to be nice, he said. No, she said. I never do that. Not even for my employers or captains. Naruto sighed. Well, there's one tiny upside. My chakra control has gotten way better. I wonder, he said. As he held out his right hand and balled it into a fist. Instantly, it was surrounded by chakra. As he slammed it into the earth shook violently as she had to jump back. It was like an earthquake. When the shaking stopped, she was stunned to see a crater 30 yards deep and about 20 yards wide. She was a Jinjoki, but even she found that display of raw power impressive. Wow, what freakish strength. I would have hated to see what he can do with the Kyuubi. Well, that's not too bad. Maybe I'll have Hinata teach me some medical ninjutsus. As he created the Rasengan before he released it. But no, there was a big problem with his Rasen Shuriken. As he had finally created a mix wind-type base Rasengan, but it destroyed on a cellular level. If he hit someone with it, that person was not only dead but probably unrecognizable. But it caused him severe pain and bodily harm that was hard to heal. And that was when he had the Kyuubi, and Jiraiya told him not to use it again, even in practice, because of what it did to his arm. As he didn't know what the Rasen Shuriken might do to him, it would be a last option for a life and death fight. Will that leave me one more thing to test? As he formed hand signs, multi-Shuriken Jutsu, as the entire place got filled with smoke. As Yugito watched, as the place was filled with Naruto, the Naruto at the very center started to shake. She moved forward and caught him before he fall. Hokage-san, are you alright? He was huffing and didn't look like he can't stand at the moment. 400. 400? She asked. Is that how many clones that you made? This, my limit, he said. It's very impressive, she said. No, it's not. I was able to make 2,000 before. Can anyone else in your village make even half this many, she asked. No, but it's nothing compared to what I used to be able to do. Yes, you no longer have the Kyuubi chakra, she said, as she continued to hold him up. Which means you just have to settle for being the most powerful ninja in your village by miles, instead of by hundreds of miles. As she gave him a rather sharp look. I can only guess what you were like before, but from what I can see, you are still S rank. And I doubt there are so many ninjas out there that can have a chance against you. You are a powerful, respected ninja with a family and a village that honors you. If you really miss having a demon inside of you, let's trade. Give me your powers and your family, and I'll gladly give you the Nibi. As Naruto looked at her in surprise at the outburst. As she blushed in embarrassment. Forgive me, Hokage-san. That was disrespectful. I apologize. He shook his head. That's alright. You can say whatever you like around me, he said. She shook her head. No, Hokage-san. It is not alright for me to speak such a way into my employer, or a Kage. It's okay, Yugito-chan. I know I act like an idiot some of the times. And you're allowed to tell me so, okay? She stared at him. For such a powerful ninja who was a genius, he acted like a naive child most of the times. The clones disappeared along series of pops. Come on, Yugito. Let's get to the tower. I have a bunch of meetings this afternoon. And if I'm late, Aunt Shizune will be mad. She nodded. Yes, Hokage-san, she said. On their way there, they talk about the Akatsuki. And surprisingly, she did not know about the Akatsuki. That was strange, as Naruto was sure that Jiraiya had sent warning to the cloud almost 2 years ago. It seems that the person that it affected the most did not hear about it. As she arrived, she waited outside patiently, as there was an unexpected visitor. I thank you for meeting with me today, Uchiha, Ryuki, said the grin on his face. No problem at all, said Naruto. I did attempt to meet with you prior to my coronation, but you were unavailable. Well, unfortunately, I was very busy, the man said. Every other council member made time to meet with me. Even Danzo, said Naruto. Well, I have made time now, Ryuki said, as he did not let his happy mood slip. And is there anything in particular you want to talk to me about? Well, yes. Due to the fundamental change that has taken place within you, I hope our relationship can improve. By fundamental change within me, I assume you mean I don't have the Kyuubi anymore. Well, yes, as Ryuki, I'd hope to avoid anything specific. You know you can say Kyuubi, right? It won't offend me, I promise you. Kyuubi, Kyuubi, Kyuubi. See? Ryuki nodded, certain that Naruto's mentioned Demon name, just to annoy him. But he kept a firm hold on his light-hearted smile. Well, know that the Kyuubi is no longer in your possession. I thought it good to inform you that the Uchiha clan is now firmly behind you and bears you absolutely no ill will. Naruto raised a single eyebrow. So you had ill will before towards me. Ryuki's smile slipped for just a second. Naruto had no trouble spotting the hospitality that was underneath. Perhaps there was some negative feelings before you became Hokage. No, of course you have our loyal support. The Uchiha clan has always been the most powerful clan in Konoha, and I merely want to assure you that you can trust in us. Naruto carefully nodded and decided not to question the statement of the Uchiha clan being the most powerful. He preferred commenting on something else. Of course I trust the Uchiha clan, as I trust every loyal clan in this village to obey my lawful orders. Never mind the fact that 3 members of your clan tried to kill me. That caught Ryuki by surprise. Bringing up such things was, well, unneeded for these kind of meetings. And for another reason. 3. I am aware of the unfortunate events surrounding Itachi and Sasuke, who were both my nephews. I trust you will not hold the entire clan responsible for the actions of one man, who murdered his own father, my brother, before betraying the village. Or one who went insane and attacked you after murdering his own girlfriend. Who is the third, if I may ask? Their father, your brother, Fugaku. My mother has told me all about how he was demanding my death after the day I was born. Surely you cannot blame him for that. It was the day after the Kyuubi attack and the Uchihas had suffered many losses. You must realize what he proposed was reasonable, given the circumstances. Naruto's smile vanished. A lot of people thought killing me when I was a helpless child was reasonable. So far, there is no justification for killing a baby, though. Ryuki bowed. You are right, of course, Hokage-sama. There is no excuse for such a thing, and I apologize on behalf of my clan. This is not how I wish for our meeting to go. Perhaps it would be best if I just leave. No, said Naruto. Please sit, and let's continue. Would you like for some tea to be brought in? The both of them sat down and drank tea as they talked about pleasant and meaningless subjects for the next 20 minutes. This was what the meeting was supposed to be like. Just an opportunity to build goodwill, without talking about anything too serious or any politics. Before the end of their thought though, Naruto brought up one subject. I think you should know I intend to kill Itachi and Kabuto. Not because they're Akatsuki or they attacked me, but because they betrayed their village. I wish you the best of luck in killing Itachi especially. He murdered his father and his existence is a mark of shame to my clan. Naruto nodded. I am very glad you feel that way. So far as I am concerned, anyone that betrayed me or this village would get absolutely no mercy. It doesn't matter which clan they belong to. And that is a promise. Ryuki smiled. As the hidden message in that wordplay that he just used was obvious, but he pretended not to notice as he nodded. Time skip. When Naruto returned with Yugito home, he was greeted at the door by his mother. There's dinner on the table, honey. Thanks, Mom, he said. As he removed the cloak and the hat, being the Hokage was great, but it was nice coming home, greeted by family all around. He looked about as he headed to the kitchen. Where's Alyssa? I was expecting to hear all about her first day of training. The poor dear was exhausted. She's already asleep in bed. Well, I suppose I should have expected that. Uzumaki training techniques aren't really easy to stay indoor. That is what made them effective, said Kushina. So how was work? Anything you can share? He stopped on the way to the kitchen as he looked around, making sure no one else was near. Kushina was a bit surprised at his caution. I had a meeting with Ryuki today. Did he threaten you or make demands about something? Naruto shook his head. No, he came to meet nice and chat. Sort of like the Fire Daimyo wife. His message was, trust me. Do you trust him? Asked Kushina. Not for a second, said Naruto, as he headed into the kitchen. The following day, Kushina took our team on a B-rank mission to Tea Country. It lasted for 4 days as it wasn't too hard. As Haku wanted to talk to Gabriella, as he asked her to come and have dinner. But she declined, as she just wanted to head straight home. Things between them were getting more and more stressful as the days slipped past. They both knew about her deadline and the pressure was building. Nothing had changed though. He loved her and she loved him. She was determined to lead the Uchiha clan and he was determined to find a new clan with a spirit much like the Namikaze's. Sometimes the tension led to amazing sex when they just grabbed onto each other and refused to let go. Other times she can be cold and treat him like a stranger. If you're lost, I think the way home is that way, City Aware, as she pointed towards the Namikaze estates. Haku looked over to Teowei and smiled. They were close. He really liked her a great deal. Over the years he learned enough about women to understand she liked him as well. Perhaps more than friends. Had he not been with Gabriella, he would have cared for Teowei in that way. But as it was, his heart was spoken for. Kushina already headed home, so it was not just the two of them. Would you like to get something to eat? Teowei was surprised by the request. Normally, she only get invited if Gabriella or Kushina was here as well. She smiled. You pain? Sure. Alright, she said, as she playfully put her arm around his. They had a good meal and included a bit of sake. Haku usually didn't drink, but when she ordered sake for herself, she, guilted him into drinking as well, so she didn't drink alone. When dinner was over, he naturally offered to walk her back. When they got there, he, wanted to drop her off, but she invited him to talk for a bit more. Usually, when she invited me, I always say no, but this time was an exception as he went in with her. Sitting on her couch as she played her melody. It always reminded him of home, that sad tune. But now it was reminding him of Gabriella. How things were getting worse between them. When did I start to connect Gabriella to the tragedies in my life? He didn't like that thoughts at all. They loved each other, why wasn't that enough? It was enough for Naruto and Hinata. Then he thought about his own parents. They loved each other as well, and they both loved him as well. Even after all this time, he remembered being happy, surrounded by his parents' love. But in the end, their love ended in tragedy. He felt a hand touch his cheek as he turned his face towards Teowei. She had stopped playing and she was sitting very close to him. Where are you? She asked. I see in your eyes you're a million miles away. I want you right here. I'm sorry, I was just thinking, he said. You were thinking about sad things, right? As her other hand cursed his other cheek. You always think about sad things when I play for you. I'm sorry, I was feeling very warm, he said. He thought that it might be the sake, or perhaps because she was so close to him. Don't be, she said. I'm glad my muse make you feel, even if the feeling is sadness. I'm just very glad that you're here with me now. As her face moved forward, she kissed him. His face stiffened for a while, but then to her surprise he kissed her back. He was kissing her back. She shut her eyes and herself got immersed in this pleasure of feeling. He could just release it and give in to the pleasure of her. It was different from the way Gabriella tasted when he kissed her, but there was something about it. As soon as he thought about Gabriella, he backed away. The moment was over. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be here. As he started to move towards the door, she nodded. Haku, my door is always open for you, she said. If you ever need me for anything, please come by. I promise I'll never shut you out or turn away from you. Anything you should ever want from me, just ask, and I'll give it to you gladly. She saw his face blush, and he understood what she was offering. I have to go, I'm sorry, he said. And with that he left. Time skip. Their usual training session went on as it normally did. At the end of the training, Haku left with Kushina. If Kushina suspected something, none of them knew because she kept her face rather neutral. Gabriella was a bit disappointed. Her mind fluctuated changed, but no, she wanted to have dinner with him if he had asked, but he did not. Maybe Dad would want to do some extra training today. As she was about to go back to the compound. You're a stupid bitch. Gabriella froze as she turned. What did you just say to me? I called you a stupid bitch, said Teowei. The most amazing boy in the world loves you. And you want to walk away just to rule that brain-dead clan of yours. So as far as I'm concerned, that makes you a stupid bitch. Who the hell are you to judge me, said Gabriella. What do you know to be a part of a family or a clan? I have responsibilities that you know nothing about. Yeah, you're right about that. I don't know what it means to be a part of that clan, or being a Uchiha princess. But I also know if Haku cared about me as half as he cared for you, I would hold on to him and never let him go. As Teowei disappeared in a swirl of wind, Gabriella was furious, and a bit worried to what the girl just said. She loved Haku more than she ever thought she could. He made her happy and the thought of being with him filled her with joy. But whether she liked it or not, she had obligations she could not ignore. Time skip. Haku was surprised when Gabriella showed up and asked to talk to him alone, as he brought her up to his room thinking that she found out what he'd done the previous night. But rather than yell at him, she put her arms around him and she started to kiss him. It took a while for them to break apart, gasping for air. What was that for? You know I love you, right? Said Gabriella. Of course, and I love you too. Haku, even if things don't work out between us, I need you to know it's not because I don't love you. If it were just you and me, I would marry you tomorrow. I know that, he said, as she held on to him. Are the walls here pretty thick? She asked, as he could see that she was already undoing her jacket. Actually, they're very thick. They're almost soundproof. Really? As her jacket fell to the floor. When Gabriella left a few hours later, Kushina was waving her off at the front door smiling, as Kushina was in a good mood, as she just waved off her student, who was blushing the entire time, and went away. But guys, be any subscribe right here. For the next part of the do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification stay posted. Remember, share all of your friends in your social media platform. And go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto was a direct descendant of the sage, guys. And enjoy. I posted on this channel. And over on Anime King 3, I posted a brand new episode of What If Naruto was betrayed by Hagoromo. So go ahead and enjoy that as well. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, and you guys enjoy the videos, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and turn on that bell notification stay posted. And thank you for all of your support and your help. And yeah, without further ado, I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.